Hello and welcome in to the SorareData NBA Unique Card Watch for the one-of-one Giannis Antetokounmpo in the 2022-23 season. I'm Andrew Laird. You can find me as Lairdinho on Sorare, joined by 100 people today to watch what we think could be the highest card ever sold, at least NBA card sold on Sorare. I'll just go down the list here. We have AJ, Alex, Keith, Mike, and TST, who all contribute to the Sorare content system. AJ, because he gives us something to talk about, and everyone else, because we just talk about it. But we were just talking about this auction here. We have, what are we up to now? $21,758.59. A giant, what is that again? 37-cent increase from the previous.
Yeah, give me 1 second. I'm just going to throw one in there right now.
You got to set the max rate, and then you get these little increments. But anyway, AJ was giving us a little background on like what happens in these unique card auctions, and I was like, whoa, we got to go live. So AJ, why don't you pick up what you were just about to say as we see Anton Black 056 and Dimes for Days competing, at least right now, with 27 minutes to go.
Yeah, exactly. So what happens in these unique auctions, which I would assume is different for limited and rare, so super rare, somewhere in between. But with the unique auctions, there's one, right, per season. So like, and the number of managers you play against is like between 10 and 20. So you just try to be more tactical about, it's not even about, do I get this card? There's very few cards that you're like, I have to have this one. And Giannis, he might be one of them. But regardless of that, you look at who's winning, right? And it's like, hey, I pull up whenever someone's bidding on a unique card and it's near the end, it's a serious bid. If I don't know who they are, I go look at their gallery right away. So like Anton Black and Dimes for Days, these two guys, they can't set a unique lineup in NBA right now. So to me, I'm like less threatened by it. I'm like, hey, if you end up with this Giannis card and you paid $50,000 for it at the end, let's say, like, good luck. You got to go spend like another 50 to 100 grand to even compete in the unique division. Both of them, which is interesting. Versus like if this was Bellama, who I'm sure we will see bidding, or a few of the other guys, YNWA, a few other names in NBA. Like that's like, okay, shit. Now this guy was already competitive, beats me every week. He's gonna have this card. Okay, I really got to push him. So that's some of the thinking that goes on.
So are you less likely to bid then if it's just between these two guys? You're like happy to sit it out?
So if this wasn't, Giannis's card,
yeah,
which is pretty much probably one of those that like you have to have or you really want to have if it's a reasonable price, you would get it. But if this was anybody else, a tier below, where there's like 30 guys in that next tier down, yeah, you're like, go ahead, guys, like have fun, like have this card because you're not going to be able to compete and you just blew 20 grand. Like that's what I see a lot of people make that mistake. It's exciting. People want to get in and bid. They're like, yeah, if I get this card, oh my God, right? But realistically, like, how are you going to compete? And then I see people screwed and they're like, okay, now I need to sell this because I can't actually make a full team. Especially in NBA with the salary cap. Even I struggle to make a team every week. It's crazy.
So I was going to actually say though too, this kind of what he's saying there reminds me. I'm not going to say names. People can look it up, but of the Holland unique, because that card went for I don't even remember the USD. Right? It was 250 ETH. Was it over?
It was like
400,000.
480 grand or something.
Okay, yeah, and Laird, like we don't have to pull it up, but I got somebody mentioned in a chat I'm in. It's yielded like 3 rewards.
Oh.
Right, because he can't send a team.
It's right, and then I was just like, so AJ, you just were saying that. I immediately go to these two galleries that are fighting it out. Like you said, neither one is even like remotely close to being able to be competitive. Like the one dude actually has some nice. Anton Black has some nice super rares. He's got a Josh super rare, SGA super rare, De'Aaron Fox super rare, Drew Holiday. He has a Giannis super rare, Kyrie super rare, rip. But like he still's got to add.
Unless he goes to the Lakers.
Right. Well, yeah, we'll see. I mean, we can fill time with that, but like he's still's got to get another unique. He probably needs at least one more unique on top of that because all of his power cards are all super high L10s. So if you combine with Giannis,
Yep.
he has nobody at like the bottom end. I don't know. He's still got like so much work to do if he were to win it.
Yeah. No, you're 100% spot on. And what makes it even more complicated is that, like, for some of these guys, Dimes, I haven't checked and I don't think it's relevant, but Anton Black, if you pull up his gallery in soccer, on the soccer side of the website, right, so you can't see his mixed gallery, he has serious money and has spent serious. Now, he's not, like, ultra competitive on a weekly basis, but, like, you know, he's blown a couple $100,000 on some unique soccer cards. So it's not like this guy is incapable of getting there, but it's like, let's see you do it then. If you win this Giannis, like, go ahead, buy 3-4 more, you know, serious cards.
I was just gonna like throw that out there too. Like, I wonder for someone like that, where he's like, all right, until I get somebody that is a difference maker, I'm not gonna go out there and blow my load, right? Like, I'm not gonna try and grab like a Royce O'Neal or something like that. Like, let's wait. Let me see if I can get a Giannis, a Luka, Tatum, somebody like that. And then once you secure one of those, it's like, all right, let's go empty a bag. God, it's such like another
fair.
level of like strategy involved in this. It's wild.
To go back to the Haaland one, like I do remember when that happened, and the same conversation, like we had the same conversation, just like that's not quite a gallery that is going to be able to best utilize that card. But it was also like there's only one opportunity to get that card. So if like you did have a plan that included that card, whatever the long-term plan is, you're not going to get another opportunity. At least at the time we knew we weren't going to get one. So it was like, is that the right card to start with? You're obviously spending a ton of capital early on. So could somebody come in and like have the Giannis unique be their first unique and they just build from there? Or are the people who have a lot of the uniques or who play in that division now see somebody new come in to buy the Giannis, and now it's like, now the strategy becomes we can't let that person get any better?
Andrew, I got some advice for SorareData here. I think you guys need to add another column where we can see people's bank accounts, because I think if we understood how much money they had, we could know if we needed to jump in or not.
And tax return, salary,
So-
everything. Not just current bank accounts, like what's coming down the pipeline for them too.
Isn't
Yo,
what the
I have to
blockchain
tell
should
you,
tell
that
us?
was
You're right.
actually-
We should just have all of this.
No, that was a feature back in the day, and it was the best ever.
I was going to
on
say there
unique
was a feature
auctions.
back in the day where you could see Sorare wallet deposit or size at least,
That's incredible.
which
You could see like how much does this guy have, and not everyone knew though. Like it wasn't like
Right.
the most obvious thing,
I
and
love
so
that.
some of us knew what it was, and we were like, okay, he only has 30 ETH. I'll just bid 31, and it's over.
That's amazing.
Laird, was that? I remember for the Holland thing. I remember a big thing was everybody knew who had loaded up. Is that, or were they, or AJ, you think, were they just getting that from the blockchain, or was that actually on SorareData at that time and removed shortly after?
It might have been on SorareData still. I can't remember when they made
I don't
the
think it
switch.
was.
But okay, if it, even when it was though, like people who were serious and really wanted
Right.
to win, they would hide and they would not deposit, and you would wait. Like you don't know how long it takes to deposit. It's very smooth now. It's like a couple minutes, but like back in the day, sometimes it'd be like 15 minutes if ETH was really jammed up. Like so, you try to deposit 5 minutes beforehand, hope it doesn't show up on SorareData. But yeah, you can still scrape the blockchain, and I do that. And it doesn't tell you whose account it is, though, right? Like some of the really savvy whales, they spin up a fresh wallet every time and drop in, 30, 40 ETH, whatever they need. And I'm like, I have no idea who that is, but somebody serious is here.
Wow.
The wait time is probably like the most nervous time in Sorare. Like when you're depositing, you're just like waiting for it to hit. I literally can't fathom what it's like to deposit like 50 ETH and just be like, hope this shows up.
So the other thing, Laird, me and you haven't done this. I don't know if anybody else has, but I've never withdrawn, aka never take out. But we have a mutual friend that did it wrong and like had one number off. Not a fun experience. Just sitting there waiting.
It was they typed in their wallet address, like number,
Correct.
character by character.
Oh God.
Why did they copy and paste?
So on that too,
Lesson learned.
I literally,
Hopefully.
it was like early in the morning too, and I'm like, I don't know crypto at all, and I messaged Andy Black, and I'm like, hey, can you help this? And Andy's exact reaction is like, OF. Like, this is not going to go well.
Yeah, just copy and paste. That's all.
Copy and
Yeah.
paste.
So-
That's it.
You gotta love those websites, like when you try to copy and paste like your bank account or social security or something like that, where the number matters. And they're like, no, you can't copy it. You can't
No,
paste into this field. We need you to type it because that's better. You're like, no, it's not.
This is very much
It's so much worse.
So let's see. We are currently sitting at 21,758.59. We have discovered that this max bid feature may be working as intended, but really doesn't look like it's appropriate. The fact that bids are now being raised by 36 cents on a nearly $22,000 bid. But I want to find out what everyone thinks this card goes for before it starts to get out of hand. We have 17 minutes left. We'll start with TST since you're at the bottom. And I actually want to end with AJ, who probably has the most realistic response. And so we'll start, unless you want me to go first, everyone else doesn't seem as absurd.
Why don't you, Laird, bring up the ended auction too, so we have that for reference?
Yeah.
I have it in dollars, which
That's fine.
So this is sorted by ETH, like it automatically sorts by ETH, which is why like Butler is behind Josh Giddey, because it was less ETH but more dollars. But anyway, so yeah, 62,424 is the highest ever sold, and it's the Anthony Davis who YNWA bought, I believe. Is that right?
Yeah, he's got to be a player though.
He did, yeah.
Who bought the KD?
Let's find out.
Probably Bellama.
Oh, Bing Bong.
Oh, Bing Bong. Yeah.
Which is another.
This was one of the new
This is another fun
PFP
one. Yeah.
ones.
Like 124 ETH NBA gallery.
Wow.
I think. Yeah. No baseball.
Yeah,
And no football.
we got to work on his best SO5 card on that gallery thing there, Laird.
You're right. It doesn't take into account. Yeah. So a pretty decent gallery already.
For sure.
I feel like a Giannis unique would work well.
That might help, eh?
Might help. And then, yeah, we know that Mark is going to. So Mark and Bellama went after the AD. And then the Durant one, Bellama also went after that one.
One of my favorite tweets after it was like a while ago, or like a while after the AD one. I think it was that dude Top Shot Fund who he like tweeted out how much it cost, and it was like, "You kidding me, dude? Anthony Davis being the most expensive buy out of all of them? Like you think of all the NBA players, it's AD?" And I was like, have you not been watching what AD's been doing? And do you not know how the game works? Like Anthony Davis has been like a 30 and 15 guy for like the first month of the season. It's like incredible numbers. But that's anytime I see that AD, I'll always remember that tweet being like, "Oh, dude, you thought those were the NBA fans." Like, what are you talking about?
He was on
They
like
timed it perfect too.
he was on like a 42 L10 at that point too. He was like the most playable card on the. We pumped him on the show. We were like, "This is the best card right now" because he's putting up 70s every night on a 40.
Yeah.
I think right after that, too, is when he went on that run. And then we were like, is his L10 too high?
Yeah, and then he died.
And then he got injured.
And
Well, then he
pulled him
Davis.
over.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm gonna say
it off,
that
Larry.
it closes just around like 100,000 is where I think I'm starting to wonder if that's the over under, which is like obviously a huge jump from Anthony Davis. The problem is that I think this is one of like 3 cards on the like this is the best card on the platform right now. Like it will be game wise because we don't have Jokic and we don't have Doncic uniques yet. So
Wow. Yeah.
So I'm going to say $101,000.
Wow.
I don't know. TST, am I nuts?
I mean, I don't know. This is a whole other ball game than I'm used to. I'm gonna. Do we see that high? I don't know. I'm gonna go 99. Just under triple digits.
It's like the
Wow.
anti-Price is Right bid.
I love that Andrew said the over under, and then he takes 1,000 over, and TST goes 1,000 under. Are we working our way up now? Is that what we're doing?
Yeah. Let's go. Yeah, you're up, Mike.
I'm gonna say 119,000.
All right.
I said it confidently and have not a clue of like where this could be.
Yeah.
30,000. I'd be like, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. I mean, I think 100 is right on the right like precursor, but I'll just split the difference. I'll go like 105, 105. I definitely think I will say this. I will put my chips on the side that 6 figures is happening here.
Love it.
I'm going to say 114,232.
Let's go.
Okay, Mr. Analytic.
Let's go.
It's 69.42 ETH.
Oh.
Andy Black's in chat. Like, why not
All right.
69.69?
Exactly. It's going to be Trippin. Trippin's going to come out of nowhere with $114,000 and win it.
I remember we did this with the Hallen one. Actually, I don't think we guessed, but like as it was going up and there were like some big jumps in it, I remember Andy at one point was like, is this going to 1 million? And we were like, no. Like, it's not going to 1 million. But then all of us were like, it would be really cool if, like, are we actually going? And it didn't come remotely close to 1 million, which saying it out loud now just feels absurd. But like at the time, like the bids were just coming in so fast and we were like, oh, it could be. But
So
anyway.
are you changing your guess to 1 million for this one? Is that what you're saying?
That's the over, yeah. 70. AJ, how much are you buying this card for?
So I don't think anyone's wrong to say 100,000 is the value. I just think there's a bit of a liquidity crunch,
Yep.
especially with the Premier League launching and a couple other good unique options over there. If Premier League hadn't launched, like 100,000 is possible, but I find it hard to believe Bellama isn't going to use some money to improve the soccer team. So really, I think realistically, this could end up at like 50 or 60. That wouldn't shock me at all because it's just like how many people have that much money.
Yeah.
And they need to build a squad. I think enough people have learned, we'll see based on these two bidders right now, like, hey, don't go blow your whole load on one because then you can't set a lineup. But realistically, I think 50 and 60 on the low end, I think it could end at like 75, 80 would be.
I did think that as soon as I started talking about 100,000, it was like, okay, we're going to all be really disappointed when it ends around 70.
Probably.
Being less than Anthony Davis feels crazy to me. Like I realize that times aren't exactly
that
the
was
same.
mispriced. Like
In which direction?
Like, sorry for YNWA, but he paid way too much for that card.
Well, then you had the
like you just
Dane.
tell based on his actions. Yeah. Like people they didn't come out with good uniques at first, right? They were like, yeah, like
Right.
some good ones, some like decent ones, but like people wanted to be competitive as soon as possible, and they were just like, I gotta have this. But it's like, dude, have patience. In a few months, way better cards are gonna be out, and you won't have any money.
I still think, yeah, this Damian Lillard unique is like
The Dane was such a.
if you could say that $9,800 for a digital card is like a steal, I think that's an absolute steal.
Look at who he's surrounded by. So,
Right.
Sorry to Villanova and Sadiq Bey and then Bruce Brown, but come on, like Dame Lillard sandwich between Sadiq Bey and Bruce Brown. Oh my god! And then teammate Anthony Simons goes for more. Oh goodness! Did that guy flip it right away? I forget, Laird. Did he flip it? I thought he did. No, not the Simons. The Lillard.
Oh.
I thought he flipped it.
Which one?
The Lillard. I thought. Remember. He
I don't think so.
stole
Yeah.
it. No, it was Bellama. Jesus.
It's like such a like it's almost one of those weird things that like he saved so much on it that it seems silly to sell it. Obviously, you can get like I would assume a decent profit on it, but yeah, we'll see. Keith, was it you who was when they announced that the Giannis unique was coming, and you were like, do they just think everyone has unlimited money because they launched the Premier League obviously this week and now?
Yeah, well, I think I might have said it on the one, and then AJ followed up on Sarah Andrews with you guys. But like the timing is just so bad because you showed the one guy that has like no soccer gallery that's like just an NBA whale, but everybody else is crossing over. And right now, like, I mean, I hate to say that soccer rewards are better than NBA, but soccer rewards and game selection are just better than what we have in the NBA. We've been kind of harping on the game selection aspect that we need more. And just like right now, I don't think NBA is there to compete with like the soccer cards that are coming out. Like I know KDB Super Rare is coming up here soon. That's going to have some big people on the soccer side. I think there's a
The soccer
Holland
unique
Super
is,
Rare.
today, is in like 3 hours, isn't it?
Is it KDB?
Yep.
I thought it
Well,
was
KDB Super Rare went pretty cheap yesterday.
What is cheap?
Went
because
for
they're
like,
saving up for the Giannis.
it went for like 10 grand, and like
Oh my God.
they've historically traded for like 50 grand. Yeah. And now holders who have it on sale for like 30 grand, it's like it's never gonna happen.
Well, okay, so they have the Saka. That's the unique Laird. Saka unique.
Yeah.
Anton Black leading
There's a
that
Holland
one too.
Super Rare right
And a
after
Holland
it, too.
Super, and then a Turkey Super. So I mean, there's a lot of money that like big.
Oh, there's a
galleries
Kimmich
need to
Super.
have.
Wirtz,
Right.
Donnarumma, dude, they are pumping
There's
out.
a Benzema.
Like, Super Rares.
There's a Benzema there too. So I mean, there's a lot of liquidity that some people need. Today might be a day
Yeah,
to
you almost need a
get
choice.
some money on for these secondary. I mean, there's going to be some steals on some secondary stuff. I was looking at the NBA side. There's nothing really that good around the Giannis, but like that would be something they've done in the past where they've accidentally. Was it the Holland Super or the Holland Unique? Didn't they put like an Mbappe Super or like a Neymar Super right before or something stupid?
It was it might have been a Neymar Super before the.
Well, they did like a PSG run, right? And it was like a Messi rare. I don't remember. I remember this being something really silly.
Yeah, it does seem like they don't always realize that people don't have unlimited money. Simple as that. All right, we are at 6 minutes here.
Got a little jump.
We are now over 20 ETH.
Oh, AJ.
Oh,
AJ. Hey.
Okay, so AJ went in for 20.
Dimes guys really wants this.
Well, we now know that
So-
Dimes for Days' max bid is over 20 because he got the extra
Laird.
33-cent bid.
Laird, can you talk about like for people that are new to NBA that haven't watched like a football unique, can you talk about like when a lot of these bids will end up seeing like what to expect here?
Like at the end?
Yeah, like when just
Yeah, so-
what we've seen in the past.
Yeah, so pretty much, well, so this max bid feature is a little different because we haven't seen that in football. We still don't have it. But it obviously forces people to I don't think anybody's putting in a max bid now with 5 minutes left. I think anybody who's bidding is paying attention. But obviously we know Dimes for Days is now over 20 since they bid over 20 immediately after AJ put his in. So yeah, people love their last second bids. And so we will see some that trickle down and we think it's finally over. And then with 5 seconds left, someone else comes in. We don't always see people just use the next bid either. Like people will like type in a specific amount just in case like they want the next bid. And if somebody happens to get there just before they click and then they click and now it's more than they want. So we don't always see like the next step like we saw here from 14 to 20. So we'll see. I think the really interesting thing about NBA versus what we've been seeing with football is that there are just so many more places to use a football unique card. And there's one spot where you can use an NBA one as of now. And I assume at some point they will give them more contests, but we just don't have them yet. And so like, it's possible that you buy this card. I mean, you're probably running it every week anyway, but you just, like AJ said, if somebody who doesn't have the other uniques buys it, then it's not being used. So
was that similar on the football side of things? Like, or did they immediately have multiple contests where you could roll this unique out? Or is this like, because I wonder too, again, because I like just got into it through the NBA. And so like, I don't have the same, of course I would like to see more tournaments out there so I can use more of my cards, but I wasn't sure if like soccer had the same rollout or if they immediately were like, here's a bunch of contests. How did that rollout happen?
it's
probably
taking
a major
time.
question. Yeah.
And so I think I think people, you're taking a bit of a gamble, a bit of a risk, like buying this with, like you guys have been talking about places to use it. But like people who have seen the growth in the football side, I mean, it's been around for 4 years. It's really, the contests in soccer have gotten really good in the last couple of months. So I think we're saying, okay, where they get it now, they're getting better. Like they're pushing so many changes across the site in a really good way that they didn't used to do. So yeah, I'm gonna buy this Giannis now because he's probably the best card in game, and in the next couple of years, it's definitely gonna pay for itself, and there'll be more ways to use it.
Mm.
Any chance somebody buys it to flip it, like quickly?
I mean, Bella might. He'll always flip.
That's true.
He can make $1. So it's interesting. I just checked, and like I haven't seen any deposit any significant amounts in the last 3 days.
Could that be them having? But AJ, did they have liquidity on a lot of those guys for football auctions, knowing it was going to be a big weekend, or no?
In the past, here I have some. There is one guy, and it could be this dinosaur. There's somebody who's deposited 180 ETH in the last week, like in aggregate. Could be them. Another person's deposited like 200. I mean, there's a few people in the like around triple-digit ETH recently, but like, I also think that they've spent it.
Okay.
But a lot of people are bidding with credit card now.
Yeah. Here's where AJ needs to go
Which
dark
is
for about
wild
a minute
to me.
and figure out if he's going to steal this card if we don't get some action here.
Honestly, 90 seconds
Alex,
is like an eternity still.
Alex, how scared are we if this? Oh, there we go. Okay.
There's Max.
Now we're going.
Oh,
There's
Max.
All right. It's time now. I was going to say, Alex, I was going to say, if this goes for 25 ETH, how scared are we for the future of the platform?
I don't think you would need to be scared of it for this price right here. Like, it just means like people are being smart. 50,000 is still an insane amount.
Yeah.
And they're going to build, hopefully. So they're going to spend $250,000 just to make one team.
Right.
Well, and I think you're right. The timing of all of this too is just like with the Premier League. It makes sense. It makes sense that it might be a little bit lower.
Here we go. There we go.
It's still like, I wonder what the times for days Max is. Because like obviously it's
he must have put 50. Oh man.
See, here we go.
Here it comes.
Now he found it. So Dimes for Days is definitely using his credit card because his max bid was $60,000. He doesn't even think he
it's chaos.
So, does anybody ever think does Sorare sit here like with a minute left? Like, does Nicholas watching this and going, "Oh, I wonder what's going to happen"? Yeah. Does he just sit there and just start fist pumping?
He's watching us right now. What do you mean? He's seeing.
They're definitely watching.
Yeah. All right. So we're at $70,000 now.
That's it.
Which is AJ territory in his guesses. Bellamon Max going for it. 74,211. Is that it? Oh, that's a max bid.
Yeah.
80. Wow.
Jeez. Let's go.
So that means Bellamon's max is probably around 50.
This is really interesting to see the max bid stuff though, when it's just up by like 0.0002. Like I wonder if we're going to end or if now they're going to go, I'm so close. I'm just going to manually bid this from here.
This is wild.
Are the max bids only dollar amounts? I mean, excuse me, only ETH?
No, you
can you put in a dollar amount?
Yeah, you can do dollars.
Okay.
I love that.
Here we go.
$6 figures is coming. Bid was a credit card.
6 figures? That's a lot.
92.
92.
I like to think.
Okay, now for me getting to a territory like this doesn't make sense. Still have like 3 cards coming that are equal in power.
So AJ, you're out right now, right? You're not bidding.
Over 100.
No, that's basically what I'm explaining. Is like,
yeah.
Wait, 101. That was my guess.
Stupid.
Yeah, we're not done yet.
105.
So now the question: are they pumping each other, or do they both really want this? Is like Max trying to just?
No, they want it.
What does Max have? I don't want to.
That's what I was wondering. I didn't know he was.
Max doing well in basketball. He has a few
8 uniques.
That would be such an insane move by Max to be like, I don't really want this, but maybe I can get Bella to spend $10,000 more. Like that risk is not worth it.
Well, no, but if you have the gallery,
It happens
you
all
know
the time.
what,
Oh
like,
my!
Mike, you don't understand this in the football side. And AJ probably has done it. I haven't heard him say it, but wow, let's go.
There's
All right,
there's
so
two of them
yeah,
at this point.
123.
It's
180.
over my guess, and I think my guess might have been the highest.
I think you were the
I
highest.
think you were the
yeah.
highest. Yeah.
Cleared it
Well,
by
at
9,000.
least-
They do know he's 28 years old, right?
Oh,
Like
come on.
Luka's
Freak,
23.
though.
That's obviously the card. You're not look on the soccer side. You can make back 100,000 in a season. Like you buy Mbappe, maybe 2 seasons. In basketball, you just do it. This is such a massive risk. This is just you could use your money so much more.
82
geez.
ETH. Holy cow.
Dude,
I mean, we're over
that's
double
insane.
AD, which
So now this is great for the NBA platform. We went from like 1 minute
Yeah,
ago.
NBA's
Is this
dead.
going to be a bet?
yeah.
AJ, do you think so? Because you mentioned the age, right? But would you feel similarly about Jokic since I think Jokic is a year younger,
It's a
but
great-
like
Yeah.
plays differently though, right? So I feel like
I would
Go ahead.
much rather have Luka at price, and I would
Oh,
not even
Luka
spend this much on
definitely.
Luka.
But
But
what
Luka
about
has to
Jokic?
be-
But see now, like Max, whoever wins, Max or Bellama, is going to be down 80 something ETH for whenever that auction comes. They're not doing that. They don't have
Right,
hundreds of ETH to stick on the side.
So
So I just
This feels like the end to me.
this is way
This is
too
it.
much.
Yeah, that was. So what does this put Jokic at? Or not Jokic? What does this put?
Oh!
Luka at?
Oh my
Oh,
god!
What are we doing?
So bad, dude. It's going
Dude,
to take him
let's get
5
it to
years
$1
to make
million.
money back. Oh god.
This kind of feels like the Holland right now. It really does. Like where you're just like, how are they going to make this back?
So,
This is
so the
nuts.
wild
Well,
thing is
Bella,
that
Bella
my
has the
account is
best
5 times
gallery,
this price.
probably.
All right,
wonder if this-
152.
I wonder if this is the guy who
The thing is,
tweeted.
Bella was already winning every week. You know, like he was podium. He was the podium every week.
Oh my god.
Why?
What are we doing?
100 ETH. Let's go. We got to hit 100 ETH.
yeah,
That's a max.
Do not leave this at 99.
He must have a max bid at 100 though.
Yeah.
Don't leave this at 99. Come on.
push him.
Oh,
Hey,
Oh my god!
Let's
his max
go.
bid's over 100.
We're rich.
Right, max
guys.
bid over
We're
100.
rich.
That is insane.
So with
There's no
with
way the max
making-
bid feature is supposed to work this way, but thank you for allowing.
Yeah, you'd think they would have capped it.
Jesus.
Oh my goodness.
You guys are talking about making the money back taking a really long. Like what? Does,
He just went again.
what does
Dude.
holding the asset have to do? Like where does that factor in?
Say that again. Sorry, I missed it.
What do you
so,
mean?
So like, ideally, you want to make all of the money back playing the card, but holding the asset and reselling. Like, say this becomes like the standard for fantasy basketball down the line, and like everybody who's in fantasy basketball, like reselling the Giannis. At what point, like, are you just hoping to like sell this to Elon Musk or something like that?
Yeah.
Where does
Well,
that?
problem is, by
I
the
mean,
time by the
There's
time that happens, there's 3
No.
or 4 Giannis uniques.
That's true. That's
Right.
true.
yeah, and people have been
180.
speculating that on the soccer side for 4 years,
Yeah.
and it's basically never happened. So it's
Got
like that is a horrible way to spend money.
Yeah, that's top shot.
So-
right there.
So
All right,
hold
we're
on.
at 5
Can we
seconds left. 108
can
seems like
we
it's-
talk about the fact?
Oh my god!
Well, I was about to say
What are you guys
Max-
doing?
Well, it almost ended with a 3-cent difference, and I was like, "Is Max really gonna let this go for 3 cents? Like after all this?"
I mean, you either have money or you don't at this level.
Oh my god, this is so. So Alex, you were right on the ETH if you switched your dollars to ETH.
Yeah.
This is nuts.
So $187,000.
This shocking me.
I mean, at this point with the max bid, is Bella gonna like let this go? Because now he's letting it go for $2,000.
I
I
think
mean, the next bid's got to be around 120.
like 113.
I can't wait for Luka to go for less, and everyone's going to lose their
Oh my
damn
God.
mind.
But that's what happened with Mbappe. That's what
Yeah.
happened with Mbappe on the
Yeah.
football side.
It's nuts.
That's got to be. Come on.
That's it. That's
Look
it.
at me. Wow.
Okay.
Wow.
187.
Hold on.
There it is.
Wow.
So
Hold on.
here's Nicola is going.
Yeah, I'm sure tweets being formed right now.
Holy
No,
cow.
it's definitely not because so like Sorare has done as much as they can to not talk about how expensive some of this stuff is.
Interesting.
And so they're all high-fiving at the office, but they're definitely not going out and being like, hey, look how much we sold something for. Because then everyone's like, oh, I can't play that. Never mind. We can all tweet about it, though. They'll be happy to see us tweet about it.
I picture them standing next to a button, and just as soon as this hit, and they passed whatever it cost for the NBA license, and they hit the button, and the confetti comes down, and they're like, hey, we're positive, baby.
Holy shit.
So congrats to Max M, 113.888 ETH, $187,348, smashing the record of Anthony Davis, thankfully, to be honest,
So
at 62.
So if you're Sorare, you have to like release this Luka unique like right now.
But like
All-Star weekend.
No, you don't.
Yeah, you don't.
Because if you go back to where Max and Belmont started pumping each other, just they started bidding against each other. That's where the Luka would end if it was sold today, right? Because you don't have.
I guess.
Who now has 100 ETH.
You just don't want to. Like, I mean, what part do you not want to lose the momentum though either?
Oh, you used to pace it out like another month, which
right.
Let people find their liquidity again.
Also, Luka's hurt.
Can you wait that long though with the fact that like the season is like coming not coming to an end,
Laird.
Like it's
that was
for current season utility, you're running out of time. God,
I mean, wasn't AJ, weren't you the one that pointed out like a year and a half ago how far off they were with like all the uniques and supers, and you're like, hey guys, it's February and you have a Kimmich unique, you have an Mbappe unique, like how much money do you think we have? I think that was
that's exactly right? That's funny you remember that. Yeah. No, it's like mid-February and I had a list of like 20 uniques who were like all star players. And I'm like, you haven't auctioned these guys. Like what's going on? Do you know what the season's at? Yeah, everything you just said. And
but it was after the Holland.
That was like a year and a half ago.
Yeah, but it was after the Holland and they like didn't capture that momentum, So it was just wild. My God, those guys.
Yeah, they may have been thinking what I was, that they were scared. Right. They were just like, dude, I don't think anyone else has money. Like we don't want to sell buy for pennies.
I mean, my only thought was we know Bellama has the money on site right now. So if all of a sudden you put Luka out there, Bella's like, all right, I'm ready.
But you need to have another person who can push it.
But now doesn't sorry that I'm taking it, but doesn't like Max almost need to like protect in a way like the Giannis, because obviously the Luka unique is more powerful.
But where does somebody even Max get another 100? Yeah, exactly.
It's just on credit, Laird. It's just a credit card. Just get another one.
So, AJ, you participate in these types of auctions a lot more, slightly more than the rest of us here. Does the fact that nobody else other than Bellama and Max went higher than 36 and change, like, does that mean that nobody was going to go there, or they just saw these two competing and they were like, I'm just not going to get involved?
You may have had somebody else, maybe YNWA or one or two other names who could have dabbled in the 50 to 60 range, but you're right. I mean, you're right. You want to like start dancing people who are going crazy against each other. That's like not a great strategy. You want to like kind of be in control of your at this price level. So, and he has. Oh man, that is a.
Oh yeah, he's ready to go. Two Giannis.
Super.
He can't even use one of those now.
Right.
You can squeeze in a contender. I mean, Max is going to do very well. This is going to be very fun for him, which is the point of the game.
It's not to me though. Like, I'm looking at this gallery and being like, with this much invested, having a competitor get that Luka unique is really going to risk him winning week to week, and obviously from first to second is a huge deal. So I don't know, that's like the real interesting part to me.
I think one thing that sticks out to me about this gallery is there's not a lot of limited cards, and that's kind of embarrassing.
It's really weak.
Yeah, pretty tough scene. I hope he's okay with us showing his gallery like this.
I also
Getting
think
confused
there,
with
don't you
limited
think
no
that
caps, just-
maybe,
R.I.P. God, that's
do you think maybe for Max there was some semblance to him, just this is who he is? You know, he bought the original Mbappe. That everyone at the time thought that was the best card, that was the best unique you could buy in here. And everyone thought, wow, you're crazy, you did. And it was $64,000 at the time, and we were like, this guy's nuts.
I remember
You know,
that,
now obviously,
thinking that was
wow,
insane.
that's cheap.
I wonder
Yeah.
too. Maybe just he has
think
the take because you were talking about Luka, right? Like being the obvious buy, which I agree with because he's younger and feels like he's more durable, even though he's hurt right now. But maybe his take is just like Giannis is the guy. Like he's the one who's just going to put up 50 and 20 every game, and I want that guy. So I wonder too, like if that was the flag he was planting.
Yeah, with the 2 super rares.
Yeah,
Well, Larry, you'll have to get him on the podcast next week.
seriously.
I just want to say I feel like I have part of this when I bought a card off of him for 0.75 ETH, so that pushed him over the top. So you're welcome, Max. I want perpetuity.
Yeah. You get 1% of his into perpetuity.
I'll take
I
that.
might try to trade him like for free.
Some
Just like
limit-
give him a
some
limited
limiteds?
card so he's got one in there.
Just give
We
him one
actually have
for
none?
free.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Just like send it over.
So
Token
So
of
we've
my
been-
appreciation.
So we've been comparing Giannis to Luka a lot, but like, would you guys rather have the unique Giannis or the unique Jokic? Because like they're at a more similar age, but I feel like Jokic has a much better like opportunity to age better than Giannis does, just their style of play.
That's over my head because I'm not actually a big NBA person. I'm really I just play by stats.
I mean, I'll
Max
say
is the same way.
I'd probably take the Jokic personally, just because the to your point, the game ages better because he's not so physical, and like there's some advanced data on like the Giannis underlying shooting numbers, which is very, very not so hot right now. He's obviously still amazing. He's not like going to all of a sudden fall off and not be a top 10 guy. But you know, if you're splitting those hairs, I think that Jokic's game. I mean, like I grew up with basketball with like Arvydas Sabonis with like the triple knee braces and the pads on everything in case he fell down, and just being at the high post and making passes, and he still probably would score decently well. Like you could see Jokic at like 38 if he wanted to, just being like still going.
Well, like he's already out of shape, so it's like he's gonna have a whole career of playing out of shape. So I think he'll be fine. It's
I'm
I
funny.
feel like
so
if you end up
shocked
with
by
either
this.
one of them, you're okay.
Yeah, you'll be all right.
Right, they're both just going to be dominant. I think. I do think Jokic could play till he was like 42 if he wanted to, but he also just because I don't see his style of play changing, but he also like loves horses. So I could just see him like 33 being like, dude, I did it, man. I'm good. I'm going back to Serbia. I'll see you later. I think it's Serbia, right?
You know what's crazy about Giannis though too? Like I'm like remember like when he was like a rookie, his Instagram going like what was it? He had like Hawaiian punch or something like that, and he's like, "This is fantastic." Like I don't remember. Like there's all these like little things. Or him, my favorite Giannis thing was he was like late to a team meeting and he ran 1.5 miles because the traffic was too bad. He got out of like the cab. Like that guy is like we can't question that dude's momentum. Like his want either. Like that guy's crazy.
No, he's
AJ,
awesome.
given the price of the upper tier uniques and the fact that you can't play them in that many places, do you think we're more likely to see a unique no cap before unique contender?
That's a good question. But you still need to appeal to even at the unique level. Like the no cap would cater to like literally maximum at this point. As we've seen on the soccer side, they want to create more if it's at the unique level where it's like capped in some way. Like on soccer now, capped 220, 240, 270 unique. And there's like 50 lineups in there. Like there's a lot of people who are kind of buying the quote unique, but now all of a sudden they have value. So, and actually be more profitable for Sorare because you can have more people who can afford to trade those, you can place fees. I think, yeah,
We should.
unique contender before you know.
That's fair. God, that's so many points.
50
So
people
many.
playing that versus people playing with a $200,000 card.
There's only 187. Plenty of room to grow.
They would love for Max to try to flip it. They could get the marketplace fee though.
Did he buy the second Mbappe?
Yeah, it's crazy. No, the second one went to Bambi.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
For 438,000.
Yeah.
Jeez.
9 months ago.
I would rather that though. Or at this point, the Holland. I would rather spend 400,000 on Holland than 100,000 on Giannis.
Look at that jump on that bid too.
Yeah, I bet he wishes he had the max bid feature there.
I just love the thought of being just like, F this, I'm done.
But like all of those are massive leaps.
Well, that's how it
Yeah, so-
used to have to be, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, they used to do a 10% jump.
Oh,
for every-
right.
Oh, okay, so it was more than that. My favorite about this auction is that it was Bambi's only bid. Like he let Max and Bellama do what we just watched, and then he was like, "Okay, I'm coming in."
That's it's pretty epic.
But hey, real quick, Laird, do you mind just for those guys? Can you go on SorareData though and show like how much he's won with that already? Because he's done awesome on this card already.
50 ETH worth of cards.
Wow.
Because Bambi,
technically, it's only 8 attributed to it. Yeah,
Right.
right.
I did there since our episode earlier that it is the number on the right does include the ETH because I've won only ETH sometimes and it flows it. So yeah, it is only 8.7, which is not nothing. But if you go to Max's Mbappe, where he's had like 2.5 seasons or 2, it's gotta be.
Mike,
It's
did
gotta
you
be.
guys know about this feature on SorareData though that you can go to the card and see what it's won?
No, I didn't. I didn't.
Well,
Isn't that awesome?
It's because
Okay.
it's
It's
not
not for
available
basketball,
for
right?
NBA. That's why.
It'll get there. It'll get there.
I'm actually a Premier League maxi now after this weekend, so I'm excited to follow along over there.
75 ETH.
Jesus. I'm actually glad you don't have it for NBA. I don't want to know how badly I've been getting my teeth kicked in.
Oh, I want to see my Jalen Brunson.
I was
Every time I play him, I print. It's weird.
JB's the GOAT. That's why.
That's
No,
true.
there is nothing like nothing that puts you in your place more than like a card that you have, and you're like, I love this card, and you like go to see how many you've won with it, and it's like nothing. You're like literally nothing. And you're just like, oh, okay, still work in progress. AJ doesn't know anything about that, unfortunately. The guy just wins everything. So.
I'm gonna pull up Jericho
No,
Sims.
I've
It's gonna
made
tell.
some very bad decisions.
Sorry, I was gonna say I'm gonna pull up Jericho Sims. It's gonna tell me I've lost like 15 cards with it. They're like, we've just been taking cards away from you.
If you played anyone else, you
Yeah.
would have won.
Right.
I just bought that unique deck again because I just go by app and I use the SorareData lineup builder. I'm like, oh, this guy's supposed to do well this week. Cool.
Do you have the Sims unique?
Yeah, I think just Mike it Miguel had it on sale for like 2 ETH, and I was like, okay.
God,
Why not?
he just gets exercise out there for the Knicks. He's just like runs around, just hangs out on the court. He just gets some laps in.
I sent. It might have been last night actually. I sent a message to Alex and Keith, and I was like, "Oh yeah, 21 minutes, no shots, 1 rebound,
Oh,
1 block shot, and 2 fouls." I'm like, "This is."
so tilting.
He's so passive. He's
And
like,
I don't watch NBA, and I tuned in to see if he was going to do something for me.
Just you're like, oh, I'll never watch NBA again.
The worst part is that he's so recognizable on the court, so it's like obvious that he doesn't do anything. Because you're like, "Oh, that's my guy. Where's he going? What? The ball's on the other side.
I watched he and Kevin Knox play a couple of possessions together, and they're just the two most docile NBA players. They're just like, yeah, you can have the rebound.
Well, it's especially because Jericho Sims can like touch the top of the backboard.
Yeah.
You're like, you should probably grab a couple more of those rebounds. That
Just put your hands up.
6 foot guys.
He just defers. He's just like, I don't want it.
Like he jumped for the one rebound he gets a game. He like jumps up and he's just like so much higher than everyone else. And you're like, could you just do that 9 more times? Like, really?
It's like when Andrew Wiggins like said his quote. He's like, I never knew that I could rebound or something. And you're like, oh, that's a good idea to try that when you're 28.
Sweet kid, though.
I am actually curious now that I'm here with you guys. Like, we mentioned Kyrie earlier. Like, I'm thinking about adding it. Like, if I could buy it for like, 12 ETH. I think it was on sale the other day. That seems like a value to be honest.
The
like 2 more years.
The only thing I'll say about Kyrie for this season, anyways, is that it is in the realm of possibility that Brooklyn is not going to get anything good back in return. And they're like, we're not just going to fire sale you, dude. And then Kyrie is not really mature. So I could just see him being like, fine, I'm not playing basketball for the rest of the season.
100%.
So I think I'm not saying that's the most likely outcome, but I would say like 20% chance, like one in 5 times that does happen. But if he does land on like a Lakers, or I mean, if he goes anywhere, he's going to be great, like for fantasy or for so rare purposes. But I'm just terrified. And again, I'm a Celtics fan. He used to be on the Celtics. He firebombed the whole organization. So I've just seen it happen. That's maybe I got PTSD from it.
Hey, I'm a Cavs fan.
Yeah.
I mean, the problem for him right now too, with all the baggage, because this is just insanity. Like literally, like a week and a half ago, they were like on track to be potentially, them and the Celtics like the force in the East.
Yeah.
With the Bucks struggling, and then he decides that now he wants to torpedo the team.
Dude, he literally had a quote last week that was like, "Oh, it's so good. No one in the locker room's half in or half out. We're all like fully
we're all fully in," is what he said. And then like literally, I'm just sitting there. The only GM right now that I think is stupid enough to take him on is GM LeBron.
Yeah.
Who would have thought that the strip club guy, the Earth is flat guy, and the perpetually online guy, it didn't work out.
Burner guy.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's so good.
So you're saying he's not worth 20?
I'm just nervous.
I want to throw in something smaller. That's all.
I can't think of a more exciting player to watch than peak Kyrie Irving, and I can't think of someone who scares me more at that price point.
Right.
I'd rather go.
Yeah. So AJ, I think we're pumping the brakes unless you can get some sort of incredible deal. Like maybe wait for the news to say that he's done, and somebody to fire sale him, and then just take that like risk. But I think if you're paying anything close to market value, I just don't know. I don't see it.
Also, he's been an alpha dog, so his L10 is going to be kind of
right.
Inflated.
I was thinking that too.
If he goes to the Lakers, like he's not going to put up the same scores for the first couple of weeks, so it's going to be a long way down.
So frustrating too, because he's been awesome. He's been so good the last couple of weeks.
All right, I got some breaking news. I got an exclusive scoop. I was just on Max on the side and got his logic here, which I think is pretty good. So he said that he thinks having the MVP from NBA actually matters a lot, like on the collectability side and that value, and then especially more than football. That's global and bounce, maybe not as much as MVP NBA. Also, the Bucks are going to go deep in the playoffs, so he's got like a really good combo we saw with Drew Holiday. And then, kind of the most important reason is you're going to need to own one of these 4 or 5 uniques to be competitive in the long run in the unique division. He was like, I'd rather have it now and have one guy versus in the future you're going to be fighting against 5-10 people who want one of those. I
think the last part is the best because it's literally when we started NBA, like the first Sorare NBA strategy show was like, there's 3 guys to own that you need to have like in a big lineup, and it's Giannis, Jokic, or Luka, and then it's a drop to Embiid. So I think that's right in line.
Yeah.
And he just cleans up too for the next couple of weeks until
Luka.
Right.
So
Exactly.
quick question for you guys.
Exactly.
How much better is Giannis unique than Luka super rare?
Like
now, just plain
20% on the bonus. Yeah, I mean, it even helps. Like, I have a nice super rare, so like that's gonna help nerf Max's unique quite a bit.
Probably not the price that spent. I guess is where I'm going. Like between what the last Luka super rare was, 20 grand and 187 for Giannis. Like that gap does not compute.
I guess it's hard to know.
Yeah, that's where my mind was. That's why I thought the price was crazy.
Right.
Doesn't it also like give him more optionality with his lineups because his MVP doesn't come from the super rare, so he has that locked in. So now he can be fined into low cap guy where there's players that are more liquid. There's just more of them out there, so it's more like he has way more options on his super rares now. That it's just like, no, I don't have to waste a super rare as my MVP, and I can like find that low cap guy, that value guy.
That's what I was going to say. I think that's the main. I think that's the main value.
That's why I realized I'm screwed. Because if you go to my EA gallery, actually, this would be funny. You guys could roast me. What I can do. I got all these low cap unique guys, and I'm like, I had a run where I won like 3 weeks in a row. It was pretty nice in the unique division. But then after that, their L10s adjusted, and now I don't get.
I know that is like the hardest part of it, right? It's like so spicy for like 2 weeks, 2 game weeks, 3 game weeks in a row where you get someone that's like a cheat code, and then all of a sudden their L10's back up at like 19, and you're like, well, now this card is useless.
You will never hear me utter
I just have a bunch of guys that have like a 30 L10. Oh, yeah. I did overpay for that one, but long term, I like it.
That's what we can all say.
Dude, he made a 3 last night. Guy is like,
congratulations to make for an NBA player
on the court, dude. Yeah, I think at one point he tried to like choke slam somebody. I had to watch that game. Any points for that?
You should.
I like Jalen Williams, by the way. Jalen Williams is a future star.
The benefit of choking somebody is that you get ejected and your L10 stays low. You just have to do it in the first quarter.
I think ejections are a market inefficiency in NBA. Ejections are really interesting. As soon as someone leaves and you get a will not return in the first quarter, it's like, all right, their L10's down a good 20% for the next 2 weeks. Let's go.
Beautiful justification for any decision made. You're like, this is actually good. This bad thing is actually pretty good for me.
Yep. Hurts today. It'll be great later.
I've been saying I will flag it. I've been saying that since day one that the single best thing is drop a 50 and then throw the ball at the ref, get ejected, get a -2 right out of the way. Let's go. That's why I love that Draymond Green is that's always in play.
The last thing
they were actually joking about it with last night with Draymond because like he was calling the ref to, I don't know if you saw, like eject somebody else for throwing the ball. And they were like, sir, do you know how ironic this is?
So are there any players, I'm going to throw out Jokic and Doncic because I think they'll be kind of in a similar realm, but are there any players that we think go for in between Giannis and AD?
Has
LeBron, because this has to be LeBron and Luka and Jokic. But I mean, I'm kind of on Team AJ here. One of these is going to go like 30K, and people are going to go, "What the hell?"
LeBron,
I mean, it's definitely it's much more likely Jokic goes under price than Doncic, right? I mean,
right. But I think that it could be LeBron.
LeBron will get released in the next couple of days.
It will be LeBron.
With the scoring title, yeah,
it's gonna become the all-time scoring leader, and they'll drop him that night probably.
So maybe then he isn't the right answer. Maybe it is
Start
like
loading up,
Jokic.
kids.
Or have we have the Embiid yet? Could the Embiid slip in there?
Sure.
How old is he now?
I want to get somebody who can be who like scores maybe like 5 points less than some of those guys, but costs like a fifth.
I was going
We
to
all
ask.
do. We all do.
Dame
Has-
Lillard.
Yeah, Dame Lillard already happened.
SGA.
SGA would be a good one.
Shea
Yeah.
is
That could go to my Jalen Williams.
that man's incredible, and he's only
Has-
23.
I'll say,
Has Paolo gone already?
Oh
No.
I don't think so.
I was just curious how people, because I know there's always a couple of people that be like, this is actually, forget the game. This is his rookie card. And I wonder if that, on top of him
Yeah,
being
good
like,
point.
you know, getting a young guy who's supposed to be a star for the next like 15 years, I wonder if he could jump up there. Probably not to the heights that we're talking about right now, but I feel like that'd be a solid grab.
You
I
know,
like-
you know who I love in that mid tier, AJ, that just came to mind. Alex will love this, but I think like a guy like Darius Garland is unbelievable for that. That night to night can easily get you that 40 to 45, and then Mitchell kind of runs in and out of the lineup with just little injury bugs, and then those weeks, like literally, you can get like 70, 75 from a Garland. So I love those kind of guys that are like really awesome floor and just awesome players that also have like a number two that is like oft injured or doesn't really like to play through a lot of pain, so to speak. And that kind of feels like Mitchell this year. It's just kind of like, I'm going to manage my minutes. You know, I'm a smaller guy that can't take too much of a beating. So like a Garland seems awesome to me.
I thought you were going to say DeRozan
Yeah,
for
that's
sure.
perfect.
I don't like DeRozan because he could get traded to a contender and his role goes way down.
You could have just stopped after I don't like DeRozan.
Well, no, Alex and Laird are team
He's an
DeRozan.
incredible. Oh, he already went.
Yeah, he
has
already
been
went.
great.
I didn't know that. He puts up 28, 28, and then 62. Like, he's one of my favorite cards.
Yeah, he's been great.
Yeah,
He's so erratic. He's like the always playing version of the Draymond Green situation you were talking about.
He's
just puts up-
Draymond Green without the psychosis.
Yeah, right.
All right. I think I'm going to cut us off here, mostly because I have somewhere to go. But thank you to everybody who's joined us in the chat.
yeah, fair.
What we witnessed was just nuts. I think it's as simple as that. And it was really fun to watch this with you guys. So TST, excuse me, Mike, Keith, Alex, and AJ, thank you so much for joining us. I will link to everyone's content stuff in the description of this. AJ will have to come back when you buy whatever the next big one is, and you can compete for that one. Or maybe after you get the Kyrie. Maybe we'll do that. Maybe.
Oh God, and then the trade deadline. Yeah,
inside the mind of this move.
Got to spend 30 minutes talking conspiracy theories, or it wasn't worth it.
Ooh, I like where this is going. I like it. But anyway, thank you to everyone for joining us. Thank you guys for being here, and let's go have some fun out there.